With Virginia Highlands Community College and is going to talk to us today about Google. Virginia Highlands Community College is one of our partners in the New Knowledge series, and they have stepped right up to help us with some of our presentations. So without further ado, I'm going to say Mikhail Hagee.
Need more copies? Okay, there should be 2 stacks of copies going around. Yeah, there's just 1 sheet right now. Yeah. And the handout that I just gave you just has my contact information at the top, Mikhail Hagee, my email address and phone number. So after the class, if you run into any questions, feel free to email me or give me a call, and I'll be glad to help answer any of your questions. And so today we're going to talk about some of the Google applications that are out there. And you may have heard of them as Google Apps. A new kind of terms they're using is the G Suite. Is for business and education, they use the term G Suite, where you can actually purchase a subscription and you pay for some of these apps. You can use all the ones that we'll talk about today are free of charge, and if you run out of space, you can pay a little bit of extra money to have a lot more storage. On the handout, I made a note. We're going to talk about Google Drive first. And you get 15 gigabytes of free storage with that. So if you think about that, that's a decent sized jump drive that you'd have, 15 gigs of free storage. And then the pricing there goes up. And these are for individual plans. So it's $1.99 a month for 100 gigs, and it goes up from there. And if you are a small business or have the need for more, and we'll also look at the business pricing that they have, and you can get even more storage with that. You get 30 gigabytes included in your basic plan. And so the first place I'm going to show you is going to google.com, and I've logged in. I've got 3 different accounts logged in because I have a personal account, a student account at the college, which is going to be more like a business plan. And I'm sorry, I need to check my access here. Just 1 second. I thought it connected me automatically. Okay, so going to my my first account is going to be the student account that I have at the college. So if you were to purchase a business plan, this would be more what it would look like. And most people have used Gmail. If you have an Android phone and you use mail on your phone, it's going to be Gmail. And this is actually logging into my personal account. Let me switch once it loads. So with this first account that I'm logging into is the Virginia Community College's account, which is actually a Gmail account. Our email addresses don't have Gmail, so this would be similar if you were to purchase a business plan. Your name would be @yourbusiness.com, where if you just had a free Google account, like this one is my personal account, it's just @gmail.com. So with your business, you could purchase the domain name at the end of your email account. And then you can see the similarities. There's not much difference in my inbox using my personal and my education or business account. With your free or business email, you've got your compose, just like with Outlook or any other email suite. You can create your email messages, and you've got your to, your subject. You've also got the carbon copy and your blind copy, just like any other email. And then down below, you've got your different formatting options. And then the big app that we want to talk about is the Google Drive. And that's Google Drive will be this little triangle symbol here. So with your Google Drive, let's see here. And on the handout that I gave you, I tried to give you the URLs for each of the apps that we'll talk about. So this Google Drive, I just clicked on the icon down there to link to it, but you just visit drive.google.com to go to the Drive app. And again, your Drive account is going to be similar to like a virtual jump drive. And this is where you can upload just about any documents. That can be Adobe Photoshop, InDesign, Word, just about any file type. You're just really limited on the space. So if you had really big videos, you wouldn't want to upload those there. But Melba and I were just talking about where to post some of her videos for her class, and suggested this might be a place where she could post her videos. Let's see if I've got some videos posted in here. Yeah, so here's a video that got posted that when we play it, I could just grab the link and send it in an email and have a shareable link. I've got, let's see here, PDFs up above.
This drive doesn't have limits?
It's a 15, for the free account, it's 15 gigabytes. And then you can purchase more. This file might be a little large. Here's a PDF that I've got uploaded, and this is probably it's probably a fairly large file, probably too large for email, and that's why I've got it posted on Google Drive, because at Virginia Highlands, anything over 10 megabytes is too large for email, and we get bounced back. So I would upload my PDF to my Google Drive account, and then just get a shareable link, and then send that to somebody, and then they could click on it and download it. So with this PDF, to share a PDF or any other file from Google Drive, you just open up your file. This little three dot symbol here would be your kind of like your more option on your menu bar, and then we've got the share option. With sharing files on Google Drive or in any of the other Google apps, you have the option to share to users that can view only the file, or if they can edit the file. So when we look at Google Docs, which is the equivalent of Microsoft Word, or Google Sheets, which is like Microsoft Excel, you may want to share a document you want somebody else to edit and collaborate on. But in this case, we may just want the person to be able to view it only. And you enter the name of the person that you want to share it with. So I'll just share it with myself. And you can add a note, and then when you hit send, this user account will get an email with this link to click and view the file. If we wanted somebody to be able to edit it or make comments, we just click the drop down here and make your changes there. Now, if you don't want to send an email through here, you just want to copy the link, you can also do that and copy the link and paste it in your own separate email. Yes?
When I tried to do that at work recently,
Uh-huh.
I discovered that we couldn't open it until we set up a Gmail account for her. It
Okay.
would not open up, she could not access it from her normal email from her.
Would you try to edit, share it so she could edit it, or just share it to view it? If she's trying to edit it, even to view it?
She couldn't even access it to download it.
I had the same issue this morning.
What's that?
I had the same issue this morning. We had
Did
to
you?
set up an account to view it.
Just to view it? Let's see here, we'll try that. I'm gonna go ahead and share it with, this account. And I will, let's see here, if I could. So what they were asking about is if, when you share an account with somebody that's not on Google, if you have to create an account. And I was thinking that you could view it, you couldn't edit it. Let's see if I can demonstrate real quick. I just shared it with myself on through my work email account, which would not be associated with Gmail. And as soon as I log in, we'll see the link that I can click on, and it should, well, it probably is going to actually let me open it since I'm already logged in. So once that's done, we'll see the email that it generates, and it should give us a link and prompt us whether or not we have to log in. A little faster. We'll have to come back to that, see if it comes in.
Second one.
Second one? Oh, there it comes. Thank you. All right. Let's see, and it may. Yeah, it automatically opened it because I'm logged in with Google. Let's see here. I would say you're probably right. You probably do have to create it. That's the way that they will get you to sign up for their product, is to get you to sign up to be able to click on the links. But I'm probably always logged into Google, so I think it's just letting me click and open the documents. But you probably do have to create and your Google account is going to be free that you create to view these documents. And when you get the email, you'll get this link, and had I not been logged in, I'd probably get prompted to create a free account, just to be able to view the document. And you definitely would have to do that to be able to edit the documents. With the PDFs, of course, we wouldn't be able to edit the document necessarily unless we have the right software, but with some of the other apps like Docs and Sheets that I mentioned, you would be able to collaborate. Let me open up another file to show you. And we're going to just kind of quickly look at how Google Drive is opening these, and then we'll look at some of these apps more in depth individually. Close this. So, and for the sheets and the documents that I want to show you are these green icons here. These are spreadsheets, and Google Sheets is the equivalent of Microsoft Excel. And these are forms that are submitted, and we're going to look at Google Forms also, but when you submit an online form with using Google Forms, it's going to get submitted into a Google spreadsheet like this. So these were online forms submitted into the spreadsheet. Now, if this was a spreadsheet that I wanted to share with somebody, I would do it from this spreadsheet instead of being in Google Drive. And I just click the share icon from here, and then I can add whoever I want to share it with from here, or get the shareable link like we saw on Google Drive. And
They
send
can
it
edit
there.
it also.
Yeah, if we choose to, we can put your name in, and then the little pencil there, just change it from edit, comment, and view. And when they do the edit, they'd be able to edit it from Google Sheets. You can also download these Google Sheets as a Microsoft Excel file. So if you don't want to use Google Sheets, you can download the appropriate file here that you wanted to
Can you go
use.
the other way? Can you go from an Excel sheet into, I mean, like if you had something on Excel,
Mhm.
you,
Open
on your
it up.
tablet or whatever, you didn't have that, could you use it?
Uh-huh.
And pull it up with Google Sheets?
Yeah, you can. It also imports, if you've ever opened up like a text document in Excel, it'll import it in. And Google Sheets will also import in, I guess, tab delimited data. So any kind of spreadsheet data that's been exported from Excel or any other spreadsheet form program, you can import it in. And you just do that when you open up Sheets. You just go up to File, and you can do Import. And do Upload, and I probably don't have a spreadsheet on here to show you, or the text data. But you can just do your import just like you would with other programs. And then if you've got files saved on your computer, you can just do File and Open. So looking at Google Sheets here, this is, again, a spreadsheet that's already been created. If we wanted to create a new file, just a new spreadsheet, for many of the programs, you just go up to File and New, and you've got just these, their most popular apps here, the documents, spreadsheets, presentations, forms, and drawings. You've also got templates, just like with Word. So you could choose a template. So from here, I'm going to choose spreadsheet just to show you what a blank spreadsheet looks like in here. And the resolution's a little bit large on the screen. There's, just like with Microsoft Excel, there's more buttons and that you can hit by clicking the More button here. That one actually collapses it, so if you're on a smaller screen like this, you can collapse all that and not have it all visible. But you've got just a lot of similarities in Microsoft Excel. You've got your font formatting, your data, your functions, your auto sum, average. So if any of you are familiar with Excel, it's very similar. There are some differences. Probably some of the more advanced features in Excel may not be available in Sheets. There's also a lot of add-ons that you can search that Google has that are more advanced features. That if the program's not doing something that you want, you can search the add-ons and find. That's kind of like little software add-ons that you can put into the program and expand the options there.
Are they free?
Most of them, any of the ones that I've used have been. So you've got like templates, power tools. The main one that I use for my forms, and we'll look at online forms, but there's a form notifier. So if somebody goes to my web forms and fills it out and hits submit, I want that person that hit submit to get an email confirmation, not just a confirmation on the page, they actually get something in their email. So there's an add-on that allows me to do that. And so we can look at that and just, it's a advanced find and replace. So you might find some limited functions in Sheets, but make sure to search add-ons for whatever you're looking for. They were, right here on your main toolbar,
Yeah,
add-ons,
okay.
get add-ons. And let me, let's see here, I will show you in just a minute when we look at forms, I'll show you what my form looks like that has that notifier on it and how you can control the add-ons there. With the rest of the Google Sheets here, the rest of the program pretty much works the same as Excel does with selecting your cells. You just click and drag or click it on each of your cells. You've also got your tabs, just like you do in Excel. You can create new tabs, change the color of the tab, duplicate if you want to have extra copies down here. So it's very similar to Microsoft Excel. And we can come back to this if we want. I wanted to go on to Google Docs real quick. Let's see here. And again, you can go up to File and New and create a document from here. And it's going to pop us back into a new tab, and now we've got Google Docs open. And if we were just to pull up our computer and go to Google or open up our browser, you can go to docs.google.com. It's the first link on that table on your handout. And a lot of times I'll just go to Google and type in docs, and the first link it pops up when it searches will be the Google Docs there. And it has a little pop-up. It's asking me if I want to add notes from Keep. Keep is a newer app that they've got, and you may have it on your phone if you've got an Android phone. It's just like a note keeper, and you can set reminders and import it into Docs. And I personally use Evernote, but it's the same kind of concept. I use Evernote to keep track of my password hints and receipts and different things, and you can do the same thing with Google Keep. And I'm going to say no thanks right now to this. I don't want to import any in. And so remember, I did File, New Document, and now it's popping into docs.google.com, and we've got a blank document here. To name our documents and our spreadsheets, and show you that on your spreadsheet here, you click in the upper left corner where it says Untitled Document, and we can give it a name. And when I hit enter, it automatically saves, so I don't have to do the file and save like you would with Microsoft Word. We've got our menu bar at the top, just like we do with Word. We've got File, so we can open our document. From here we can download it. You can download it as a Microsoft Word document. So if you're at home and you don't have Word and you do have Word in your office, you can download it as a Word document from the office if you create something at home or vice versa. And then just looking across at your menu bar up here, it's going to be very similar if you've used Word. You've got your edit, view, insert. We can put our pictures, our drawings, charts, tables. Your formatting is going to be very similar to Word with your text. You got your spell check. And then again, you've got add-ons. And you'll see some of these add-ons are a little bit different. So we've got translate, bibliographies, thesauruses. So there, again, might be some features that you're used to in Word that you're not finding in Docs. So you can come out here and look at your add-ons. I know with with Microsoft Word, a lot of times I'll download the Avery template to do labels. And so here's a free Avery add-in that you can install. Music notation tabs. And somebody asked if they were free. You can see most of these that I'm scrolling over, they've got free buttons on them. So you probably will run across some that they'll want you to pay for. And here's mail merge add-in.
How does Halifax work? Will you use that one?
Which one?
Halifax? It's up there, it's on the left.
The pass list.
Gosh, seems like there's just something a little bit. It was up.
Let's see here. Let's see if it.
Let's try.
Halifax. Easiest way to. I've never used it. Halifax makes faxing and doc easy. Just add the fax number, fill out your cover sheet, and hit send. So it'd be,
That would be really nice.
yeah. So you wouldn't have to scan a document or anything like that. And again, it's free. And you may want some of these. They may say they're free, but you may see, just like with a phone app, you may see it has 1 star. 1,000 people gave it 1 star. So just be sure to look at the ratings here. Like 136 people have given it 3.5 stars. So you might want to read some of the comments and just see what some of the poor comments are, or if they're all good comments.
Do the add-ons each time you do a different sheet?
No, they should still be available in your drop down, so you can just, yeah. Like this person gave it 2 stars and says you are free to learn to have to pay. So it might be a free app, and then once you get in there, you may only get, so many free faxes, and then you have to pay. So just be wary of what you have in there. And then some of these apps, they may be like on your cell phone. If you install an app, it may ask you if you give that app permission to access your images or access your documents. Some of these apps are probably going to ask you for permission to access your photos or your documents and things. So you just want to watch out and make sure you get a good app there or add-on. And with all of these apps that we're looking at today, all these different things, there's really good Google help out there, lots of good cheat sheets and things. So always remember to come down here to your help in any of these programs if you run into any questions. There are also, each one of the apps has Google keyboard shortcuts that might be a little bit different than some programs, but looking at the docs, bold is the same as Word, is Control B. And so those are all under your keyboard shortcuts, and your help are all under the help drop-down. And with your templates, I mentioned you can do a new from template. I'm going to file new, do from template. And it's kind of similar. If you've used Word, it's similar. You've got resumes, letters. So it's kind of by document type, and then by subject, we've got work, newsletters, education. Let's see here. I'll click on the newsletter template and just show you how it opens up. So this is just real quickly the newsletter template opened up, and you can see it's already pre-made with the images, and it's got some placeholder dates. And you just highlight your text and make changes. It's in kind of place filler text, so it's kind of, can't really read what's in there, but you can just replace it, copy and paste your own text in there. And with this, if you wanted to share this with someone and make comments to it, you can add comments by clicking on the comments button. And so I click comments and then click comment. So I can add a comment here that just says change title. And now I've got a comment here. So for either myself, the next time I open it up, I might just want this comment as a reminder. Or if I want to share this with somebody, I can share it and they can get that comment. And then when they open it up, there's a resolve button where in Word it's marked as complete, or you can delete the comments, or you can respond to them, or you can mark as completed or accepted. And so we can click resolve and it'll hide that comment there. And then again with, just like we saw with Sheets, you can click the share button and share it with other people, and you can edit, comment, and view. Yes. Multiple people? Yeah. Yeah, if you wanted to share with more than one person, you just add in the next email address, and if you've ever sent something to them, it'll recognize them, and then if it doesn't, it may just enter it in there, and then next time it'll recognize them. But you don't have to put commas or semicolons like you do in other like when you're sending an
Space
email.
completed or something?
Yeah.
So if you were going like an email blast, right?
Uh-huh.
And you need 5,000 people to get into that.
Hang on.
Do that, or it is.
Let me get close. That fan is, I can't hear.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So if you have, if you are trying to do like email blast, and maybe you have like 5,000
Mhm.
names, will it handle that?
If-
Or is there a limit?
I don't know. I'm not sure if there is a limit that,
But wouldn't you
I-
want to use a publishing tool or something different to send that out as a finished product?
you could, if you had, let's see, well, I guess too, if you wanted to share it with a large group of people, you would want to send it like this, like as a doc. And I would say if you've got like a distribution group in like Outlook, you could copy all those emails and try it. It may bounce back and say it may think you're spamming, if it was like 5,000 people. You can do groups and things in Google also, so it might be a better way to do it. And then as far as using a finishing, like software for it, if it wasn't something you wanted to collaborate with others with, I would say probably save it as a PDF maybe. That way they wouldn't have to necessarily log in with their Gmail account. You could save it as a PDF and then share the PDF, or just send a PDF as an attachment. So it kind of depends on how you wanted to, if you wanted to collaborate with them or if you just want to share the attachment.
You might also want to check into Constant Contact
Yeah.
or MailChimp.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking of.
We use Constant Contact.
yeah, we do too at the
A lot of
college.
people use MailChimp, but that way your list is housed in there and you can choose different lists.
You gotta be careful with
Contacts and-
spamming laws too.
What were those called?
It's Constant Contact
Okay.
and MailChimp.
Yeah.
If you have a large quantity of addresses, you do
Yeah.
have to pay, like I've got over 5,000 for one, and it's $79 a month.
Okay, through
Constant Contact.
Constant Contact. Yeah, the college, we use Constant Contact also. You've got to be careful with spamming laws. If you've got 5,000 emails that you just gathered and they're not expecting you to email them, with Constant Contact and MailChimp, you can
Kind of take care of that.
yeah,
for
they
you.
can unsubscribe it. If you accidentally got one and they don't want that email, you can unsubscribe. And another nice thing, they can share it and automatically get added into your distribution list. And then you can divide up your distribution list with Constant Contact also. So if you were trying to market a certain group, you can hit those as well.
Are
Yeah.
those free or those?
MailChimp, I believe, at one point was free.
MailChimp is still free.
Is it free?
Up to a certain point.
Free up to a
Yeah.
point, but when you get up in the thousands, it's
Right.
not.
We have like 17 or 1,800 contacts, and ours is like $100 a year, but I also pay a little extra to have storage in there, because when we send our newsletters, I can upload a ton of images, and like our logos and everything's housed in there, so I can just easily throw an email together. You
It's
don't have to
real-
upload everything.
Yeah, it's really nice to have the,
Yeah, and they were the same, like with the templates, and like, they've got lots of nice templates that you can drag and drop your pictures in, and they're real easy to update. And they've also got, if you don't have a good photography database and you need to use some stock photography, they've got some free and some stock photography that you can purchase for a small amount. So that would definitely be, if you're gonna do a lot of emails to a lot of people, you know, frequently, I would say to definitely look into one of those. But you could still create, your newsletters and things. If you wanted to do a newsletter in a PDF, I would say use like something like Docs, and you could create it, save it as a PDF, and then upload it into Constant Contact, and then share it to the 5,000 people that way. All right. So just to, I'm sure most of you have probably used some sort of word processing software, but I just wanted to, just to say, just scroll over these drop downs up here. If you know you want to put something into your document, whether it's a link or an image or a table, just go to your insert drop down. If you know you want to try to format an image or your text, just go to your format and just kind of look around in these tools. Not every option is going to be a button on the toolbar. Sometimes there's going to be different options that are going to be hidden in these drop downs. With Microsoft Word, they do the tabs now, and so this is kind of more similar to the older versions of Word with these drop downs here. Okay, so with Docs, so we looked at Sheets and Docs real quickly. We've also got presentations. Presentations is kind of the equivalent of Microsoft PowerPoint. You're going to be a little bit more limited on your transitions and animations and things that you can do with Word, just like with Sheets and Excel or Sheets and Docs. You may have a few limitations. You can see here, these are the themes that it pulls up right away, so they're just kind of just real simple themes here, just kind of block colors. And your PowerPoint and slides are going to be used for presentations like today. If I didn't want to do live demonstrations, I could be doing a presentation and just have static screenshots of what I was discussing. So with your slideshow, just like with PowerPoint, when you're ready to present, we'd go to present and it would take over your whole screen and let you click through your presentation. So this is again a good tool if you don't have access to PowerPoint.
That was under, what did you go to?
For all these, I've just been going up to File and New and just went to Presentation. Yeah, so I was in Docs and did File, New, Presentation. If you don't see it,
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah.
I wasn't in your docs when I was trying to.
okay. And if you're not in any of the apps and you just open up your browser, you can go to slides.google.com. That's the third line in that table on your sheet there. So Google Slides is equivalent to PowerPoint, and same thing as before. You've got the spot to rename your PowerPoint. And again, every time I named it and hit enter, it automatically saves it to my Google Drive. For designing your presentation, just like with Microsoft PowerPoint, you've got your background, your layout, themes, and transitions. Background is going to be this green-blue background color, so you can put any kind of picture there you want. Your layout is going to be whether or not you're taking up the whole slide with a title. If you want a body, so you want to list some information. So you can put a title line, and then list your information. And so each one of these themes will have a different layout selections. And so these colors are all in line with the theme that I chose over here. So if I chose the blue one, these are all gonna look a little bit different. Okay, so that's your layout options. Your theme again is over here. And you can choose a theme and then go back and change it. So if we wanted to use the blue theme instead of the green and blue. And then your transitions are going to be the way the slides flip to the next slide. So I have my opening slide. I'm just right-clicked over here and chose new slide, or I could do new slide up above, but the transition options are going to be whether or not they fade in, they flip or animate and do something funky. So I just chose cubed, and let me go ahead and show you. So that's the cube transition, is that little animation there. So you've got about 6 different transition options here, where in Microsoft PowerPoint there's a ton of them that you can choose from, and then you can edit those and speed them up. And here with Cube, you've got the choice to do slow, medium, and fast. And you've also got an option to add animation to your slides. So your transition is going to be to the whole slide. Animation can be to a piece or a part that's inside of your slide, so an image or this title. So I just clicked on this title line. I'm going to do add animation. And under add animation, I've got several more options here: appear, disappear, fly in from the top and from the bottom, zoom in. We'll just do fly in, and then you've got the choice on click, previous, after, before. So this is like, as I was presenting, if I clicked and wanted it to fly in, or if I go to the new slide, it automatically flies in. And this is, these are just real quickly some options that, you know, it'll take some practice, so I'm kind of going through it quickly, but it is a, let's see. So when I push play on that, it came through, and now I don't have that title line. But now if I click, that animation's bringing it in now. So you've got transition on the whole slide, and then animation on the piece inside of the slide. So that flip there was your transition, and the fly-in was the animation. And so that works the same in PowerPoint and in slides here. And you can do that to images and text, charts, anything there. All right, so with your presentation, we'll just put first slide here. These parts are going to be text boxes, so you can edit your information. And then after you've got your presentation final and you want to share it, you can share it just like you do with docs and with sheets. And you've got the option to edit, comment, and view. Or you can choose from here. If I just wanted to save, I can do present, and present from beginning and present from there. If you know you're going to be presenting on a computer that has PowerPoint, and you don't have internet maybe, or you don't want to use Google Slides for some reason, you can download it as a PowerPoint.
Will the backgrounds be the same?
Let's see what, I was going to say, you might want to test it and see if you have a lot of graphics and tables, things that you built let's see here, let's open it and see what it looks like. Yeah, so it looks the same. Let's see if if the animations look the same. So the slides. So the transition didn't come through. The animation did. So the title line was animated to slide in, but then that flip, that cube, the transition's different there. So definitely, if you know you're going to download it and present it in another program, you definitely want to test it out and make sure that things aren't going to change, because it could interfere with the way you present. If you've got an animation for something to flip around and that flip isn't in there, you might get stuck and not show, or it may show too soon. Yeah, and even looking at the transition option in PowerPoint, it's showing that there's nothing even set there, so it didn't even pick that up at all. So any other questions with Google Slide or PowerPoint, either one there? I know we can't do a whole session on any one of these, but the next app that's on the list is Google Forms, and these are forms are web forms. And again, from any of these apps that we've got open, or that I've got open here, I can just go to File and New and come down to Form, or you can see that it's forms.google.com. And for those of you that are using like Constant Contact and MailChimp, I believe you can purchase a form option in some of those programs. So you may already have some tool that you use for online forms, or you may use a web editor like Wix or WordPress that has a web form already inside of it. But for those of you that are just starting out with the web or wanted to do a quick survey of your customers, you can create a web form using Google for free. They've kind of changed the look of it. It's a little bit more simple looking now. But the first thing you start off with the web form is just to give it a title, just like with all of our others. So I'm just going to say my first form. And then you generate a question. I'll just say, what's your birthday? And then with web forms, you've got the option of doing a multiple choice, fill in the blank, drop down. Short answer would be just a like first name, last name, paragraph if you needed to describe something. And then some of the a little bit more advanced ones are the linear scale and multiple choice grid. So if you had kind of think of a table, so you've got rows and then columns would be your choices. So you have a grid of choices there. And if we were asking for a date, we could go ahead and put in a date, and it will give you the calendar drop down and kind of restrict the formatting on it. Because if you do have a form submitted and you ask for your birth date and you don't have any kind of validation or restriction on it, you're going to have people type it in April and April 20th with no year, or do 4/15 and the year. So you want to try to get your formatting to be consistent. And you've got an option to put a form description. And then
Do you use that one a lot?
I do. Yeah, at the college, where I work at Virginia Highlands Community College, I'm part-time, I do training, and part-time I'm the webmaster at the college, so I maintain the website. And our website has a form editor built inside of it, but with Google I'm able to do a little bit more with the add-ons, so I do use this. And so we've got our first question here, and then to add in a new question, Yeah, all the other apps had the file bar or menu bar at the top. So this is a little bit different here. Your menu bar is over here on the side. So I'm going to do add question. And now we've got my second question. And say, let's say, we say, what day would you like to schedule an appointment? And a new one, and then first name. And so with first name, it automatically changes to short answer. So it recognized that I typed in first name. We'll do last name, and you see here, when I start, it's giving me this multiple choice option 1, but when I type in last name, let's see if it picks it up again. It automatically recognized that I typed in last name and automatically switched it to short answer. And with all of these, you can choose whether they're required. So the first name and last name would be required. Maybe birth date wouldn't be required. What day would you like to schedule your appointment? Will require that. So before they can hit submit, they've got to fill in these questions with the asterisks on them. And then this is kind of out of order now. We've got what date would you like your appointment, and then first name. So we probably would want to ask our names first. And so with these questions, you can just drag and drop them by hovering over the edge. You'll get a four-sided arrow. We just drag it up and drag last name up. So you just drag them around and put them in the order that you want them to appear. So your plus is going to be your questions. You've also got the option to add in images, video, and a new section. So if we wanted to put maybe our logo at the top, I just have a picture of Gonzo on here. So you can add an image to the form. You can't put it up above the title there. This is as high as it can go here. And right here from the form editor, you can resize this picture a little bit. Okay, and then down at the bottom, if we had a new section, the new section is just going to give us pretty much a formatting change. So all of our questions are going to have the same font types. And so if we wanted to make a new heading, we just put in a new section and then start asking our questions under there. All right. So from here, we've got our questions. If people were answering our survey, we could click on responses here, and all of our responses would be shown in here. Our responses, if you got 5,000 responses in here, it'd get kind of bogged down. You'd have to scroll through a long list. This little green icon here is a spreadsheet option. So you can just click that and it'll export it into Google Sheets. So you can take it from Sheets into Excel or whatever program you wanted to look at your responses in. And you can, from here, download the responses. This is all in edit mode. To view this form, here's the little eyeball, and that's your preview form. Okay, so this is how it would look if I was filling it out. You can see the calendar date gives me a date picker. And then after this is where I put in my new section, so I've got my next button there. And then it's goes. And of course I didn't add anything to that second section, so it looks blank, and then we hit submit. Something else you'll want to change on is your color settings. You know, this purple is a default for some reason. I'm not sure why they chose purple. But you can change the colors up above. There's also themes. Well, no. I don't know what they're taking off. They're trying to load. There we go. So there's different themes that you can choose. So you might want to, there might be something in here that you could use, like if I was doing a graduation form, I might be able to use that. But some of these are probably not business related. You might find some, but then you can also upload your own photos and have your own image or logo up at the top there. All right. And then when it's ready, you just send out the link. I usually just copy the link and put it in an email and send it or post it on the website.
When the people respond, do you see who the response is from?
If they put their name in, yeah. If you ask them for the first and last name, and they enter that in, you'll see it like here's a response that I just did. So it's showing me there. If you wanted to do an anonymous survey, it wouldn't show you anything there. Some survey software will show IP addresses, and so it kind of would come back to the person submitting it, but on Google it doesn't.
How do you limit that if you send something out, a questionnaire, or somebody just going back to the link and loading the answers?
Oh, with Google, there's not a way to, there might be an add-in that you can put in there. There's not a way to limit it from, some of them can limit by IP address or a special link. We use Web Surveyor. The research department of the college uses Web Surveyor, and it's survey software where you can send out a special link that only can be submitted once, or you can limit by IP address. So I can sit here and pound it and submit it a dozen times. But as far as I know with Google, right off the bat, there's not a way to do it, but there might be add-ins that we could add into it.
Can you make any or all the questions mandatory before you can submit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
And that
if
would
you
just
put in
be checking that
email
one.
address, then you can clean it up and get
Yeah, and the only, you can require like an email address, and we've done that with forms, and you'll get some submitted that are wrong and stuff, but at least you'll have something entered in there. If you go home and you want to use this form software, this is their updated, I wish I could show you, well, let me see if I can open this one. Okay. So what we just built, that form was using their new Google Forms, was that purple block and real simple. And when you go home, you should hopefully have an option to try it. It didn't give me that option before, but I opened up an older form. And this is how it would look using their older Google Forms. And I prefer the older version. It's just, this way it was just too simple. I like seeing my options in my file bar, my menu bar at the top and everything, and see what things I can change. So this is an example of a form that I've done for the college, just for requesting tutoring. So you can see we've got our short question here, check boxes. So if you wanted to have multiple options, please check all that apply. If they wanted to check off all three. If you wanted to ask a question where it was only multiple choice, one option, you would use the radio buttons, the circle buttons, and that would restrict it to just one of those. And then we've also got a drop down here So, this question's asking what school, their dual enrollment is, and so we have a drop down and have all the different options there. That matrix question that I had mentioned earlier, that looks like a table, that's what that would kind of look like there.
Can you go back to that old form, or do they force you to use the new?
In my office, they let me, even when I create new ones, it lets me go back and forth between the old and the new. But when I just created the new one, it didn't give me the option here.
I just created a form at the same time as you, and it didn't give me.
It didn't give you an option. Yeah. Usually there's a little hyperlink in the bottom that says, would you like to go back to the old version? And it lets me go back to it. And I'm sure all these options are probably somewhere in that new version, but like the eyeball is just not intuitive. Like, it takes me a second to think that that's gonna be my preview and everything.
On the bottom right-hand corner is a little question mark, and at the very bottom, if you
There, okay.
hover over that, it gives you the option.
Back the old forms, yeah. So I'd suggest, they probably have a reason for the way that they've designed this new version, so you might like it and might want to give it a try. But if you can't find options or it's not real intuitive, I would suggest to go back to the old forms there. And I know in my office, there's usually a little hyperlink over here that says go back to the old version. And the way I got to it just now, I just opened up one that I created in the old version. And then just to go back and show you these forms. So here's a form for an online, let's see here, course evaluation. Well, here, it keeps asking me if I want to upgrade, and I'll say no. So here's a course evaluation with that matrix kind of questions with the table there. So you can do a little bit more advanced forms. And then when you go to your Google Drive, the answers are being submitted into spreadsheets. So this is an online form for an old class that I did where they evaluated, and all the answers were submitted into this table. So I don't have to go in there and export it or anything. It's automatically sent into Google Sheets and in a table there for me. And so at the college, when I create a form for somebody and they want to see who's signing up, right now we're doing cap and gown registration. So I set up the web form and I'm able to share the results with the counselors so they can see who signed up for their cap and gown. So I can give them access by sharing it to just view it or to edit the sheet if they want to. So it's real nice. The reason why I chose Google for some of these forms is on the web software that we use, we can't share the back end of it as easily as you can with Google. So I'm able to share this with my coworkers a lot easier. Any questions on the Google Forms? Or 1:30. And so Google Forms is probably my favorite out of all these that I've got here. The other ones that I've listed, I'll go ahead and open up Google Drawing. And this one I have not used as much. I do use drawing software, but I use Illustrator or other software. But Google does have this Google Drawings option, so if you needed to draw a flow chart, you can use this drawing software here. And again, just from the forms, I did File, New, and chose Drawing. And just like all the other apps there, you give it a name, and you've got your menu bar. And then the toolbar underneath it are your drawing options here. So you've got your lines, your shapes, text boxes, and images. So
It
under
looks kind of like Microsoft Paint. doesn't it?
yeah. And So it's very similar to Microsoft Paint, or even in Word now, all the drawing options that you've got in Word. These are the same pretty much shapes that you've got. And then text boxes. And and that's pretty much it. Any questions on it's pretty straightforward. You've got your arrows, scribble. Yes.
Does this program allow you to change the resolution and the size?
Let's see. This is, I would think it's going to be more of a vector program, so there's not going to be a resolution option. And the size, let's see here. It doesn't, let's see.
Do you think they have an option, an add-on that might allow someone to maybe do batch piles of, change them from a too high of, like it's 10 megabytes and you want it down to 1?
Yeah, I'd say with that, you might want to use, I don't know if Google Photos, through Google Photos you can upload all your images and edit them there. This would be more for like line drawings and things.
Okay.
So if you're drawing maps or any kind of shaped, like vector logos and things like that. But as far as images, I would say you look at your Google Photos app.
After you create that drawing, can you save it as a photo?
You can download as a JPEG. Yeah, so you can do a PDF and a scalable vector. It's, I don't know what resolution. It's, let's see here. Let's just.
Well, the screen resolution is 72.
Right, 72 or 96, and then print you want to do at least 150, preferably 300. But for this, I would say you probably aren't going. You're not. Let's see here.
Most of the free ones don't. I like
Yeah.
Photoshop elements. I can manipulate some things like that.
Yeah, so
And what
these
did
are
you
96.
Now, how did you do that? Because let's give you that information.
Yeah. So from here, I had downloaded it as a JPEG. So JPEG is going to be 72 resolution, or this one's 96. JPEG and PNG files can only be enlarged so far before they start degrading. The scalable vector graphic is going to make it to where you can enlarge it to billboard size, and it's not going to degrade the line on the image if it's line art. But from the JPEG, when I opened it up, I went up to File and Properties. And this is just Windows Photo Viewer here, just my default photo viewer. I went to Properties, and you can see the dimensions here, and the resolution by default is 96 there. Now, if I had downloaded this as a vector, there's probably not, let's see here, there's probably not anything that'll open it on this computer. Yeah.
What can you download as a vector? I mean, are you limited as to what you can?
For if you don't have PDFs, you can save vector files as PDFs, and that kind of would work if you didn't have any software on your computer. Illustrator and Photoshop will export to EPS, and EPS files, I've had the best luck in the college with people that don't have Illustrator or Photoshop to open the file. Vector files are created usually with Adobe Illustrator or some software like that. And again, it's to create logos and line images that can be blown up to 300% and be real large. But you're limited if you, like, this computer doesn't have any software on it, so you can't really open up. This opened it up in Explorer. It looks like just a Windows Explorer here, but I can't really do anything with it here. But that's what, if you sent your logo to a printer and you wanted to have like cups made, they're going to ask you for, most of them will ask you for vector art, and that's going to be art that's created and saved out as a vector. And it's not a photo that you've saved in a photo editing software, because that photo can't ever get big. It can't get real small without getting the pixels getting blurry or mixed up and mushed up. But again, this is just real simple software here to do. I would do like flow charts, real simple, maybe mock-ups of logo designs and things, and then maybe take it into another program to do a little bit more exact detailed work. And the other two apps before we run out of time that are listed here are Google Sites and Google Keep. I mentioned Google Keep. These are going to be two that are not available under my file and new. So I've got the URLs listed there. So I'm going to go to sites.google.com. And with Google, you can create a free website with Google. And I've got, let's see here, this is an old website I had done for a training class a while back. Now they've changed sites. So this is just using free Google Sites with some stock photos, and this was back in 2013, but you can create multiple pages. And then when you share out this Google site, your URL by default, so if you don't go out and purchase a domain or anything for it, would be the sites.google.com/Nicole Hagee. And so to create the sites, again, I went to that URL and I'm going to click this create button. And here they give you the option if you want to create it in classic or in new sites. So let's see what new sites looks like. And it's going to give me an option to do a tour. I'll just close that and just click around. Just like with slides, it's got your page title. And so we can there. You can add images. And with Google Images, I chose search, so it's searching Google. And in fine print here, it says results shown are labeled for commercial reuse with modification. So just be wary of what that little fine print says. You might want to click and learn more and just make sure that it's a free to use picture there. And it's even telling me the image you found is highlighted and found on this website, and it'll give you a link to the website. Okay, so I just clicked on image and automatically put it in my image, and it automatically resized my area down here. We can add a text box. And it looks very similar to the way our form, when I was creating the form, when you hover over this text box, it gives you the option to drag and drop it and move it around.
Can you wrap it around your picture?
Let's see here. Yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah, it just let me drag that, I just clicked the image and dragged it up to the text box.
Okay.
Yeah, so then with the rest of our options here, we've got our four basic options there, but then when you scroll down, you've got Google Embeds, so you can put in your YouTube videos, calendar, and that's one app we need to look at before we go real quick. And then you can also do docs, slides, sheets, forms, charts. You can embed any of those, so if you wanted to embed one of those forms that we did, you can drag that in there. There's themes, just like we saw in Sheets. You can click on these themes, and you can even change the colors. So if you wanted to use a certain theme that you found, but wanted to make it a little bit different, so it didn't look cookie cutter like everybody else's, you can change the colors around. And you can even punch in if you've got a primary color for your business and you've got your web color code, or if you don't have the web color code, you can Google your color and find probably the web equivalent of it and punch in your color there.
How many pages can you put?
As far, I'm not sure if there's a limit on.
It's probably got a size limit, not a page.
Probably a space, yeah. And you're limited to that Google Drive storage, that 15 gigabytes you get free. So you want to, your pictures, you want to make sure you're resizing your pictures. You're not going to take it with the camera and it's going to be, maybe 72 resolution, but it's a gigantic, poster-sized picture. You want to resize it down.
Would it be great for like festivals and things that are just kind of temporary websites anyway?
Yeah. And I had a training one, and I tried to create a internal site just for a group of 3 people for us to share documents and stuff and share information. So that's something to explore.
Is spell check active all the time?
No, not. I guess it depends on the programs that you're using. There is a app that I use on my computer, and I cannot think of the name of it, but it kind of runs and spell checks your web forms and stuff.
Grammarly?
Yes, that's it, Grammarly.
I love that program.
Yeah. So when you enter in text into a web form, normally your computer wouldn't spell check that web form. But Grammarly kind of runs in the background, and it'll look just like Word. It'll give you a little red squiggle or a green squiggle and make suggestions. I've caught a lot of spell check errors on web forms and stuff using that. And Grammarly is a free app, but you can, I think, purchase some. I think it has a paid version of it too. And the one thing I wanted to mention, I didn't put it on my list, so I left it off, is the calendar, which is a huge app. The main thing with the Google Calendar, it works just like with Outlook if you use Outlook Calendar. And this is, again, my personal Google Calendar here. But I wanted to show you that, remember that paid version that you can do, or business version? You can create time slots. So as a faculty member at the college, if you had advising hours, you could set up 8 to 5 and do time slots and send a link out to your students, and they could click every 30 minutes and sign up for office hours or appointments. But with the free version, the basic version, you don't have that option. And with the paid version, and this is my college education version, I have this appointment slot option. So I just clicked in my calendar, And if I was in the free version, I just have event and reminder. So it'd just be like making a regular appointment. But with the paid version, I've got this appointment slots option. So maybe I want to do this appointment for advising session 2, because I've already got the advising session today. And you've got the option here to offer as a single appointment slot or offer as time slots of 30 minutes. So if you wanted it to change it to 10-minute slots, and we could look at the time. I've just got it for an hour. Maybe I want to change that, so I'm going to click Edit Details. And when I chose this Edit Details now, it's letting me change this, so maybe I just want to do 8 to 12. You can choose repeat if you wanted to do it other days. And then you hit save, and it's going to put that appointment there. You can even, there's even a link automatically to join it by web if you wanted to do that. And when, let's see here. Yeah, so before I hit save, there was a link at the top to share it. I can do this publish event, which I probably shouldn't because this is the main college's, or no, this is my personal. So, or I can copy this link, and I would just send that link out to my students or to my, if I wanted to do online appointments for any kind of business purposes, I could just send that email link out to my clients, and they would have, they receive on their end, would be a link, and then you'd see that day and it'd be filled with appointment buttons. Here, this is what it would look like. So when I sent that link out to my clients or my students, they would click on it, they would open up this page, and everywhere where it says advising is a button that that person could sign up for. And you can see here, I've already signed up for 8:30. So when I clicked on this and logged in as a different Google user, I would automatically sign up for that appointment slot there. So that's a little bit different that Outlook doesn't have, and regular Gmail calendar doesn't have, but your education or your business options do. A nice little feature there. Any other questions with the calendar? With quick appointments, you could just click the drop down. If you click create, it works just like Outlook. If you're used to Outlook, you add your title, where it is, if you want description, if it's a public or private event, you can hide things. You can set up notifications to get reminders on your phone or on your computer. So, and again, if you have an Android phone and you use your calendar on there, it can be, you can access it with your Google Calendar. The same thing with Google Drive. You can download that even on your iPhones. You can download Google Drive. Any questions on that? It's a lot of different apps, and that was just kind of the preview of all the different apps that that you can use, and there's more out there. Google Keep is on the list there that we didn't have time to go over for memos and notes. But if you go to Google and just type in Google Apps, you'll see there's a whole page full of different Google apps like Google Earth, Google Maps, and different things that you can go out there and find for free. Any questions?
Thank you, Phil, for coming. I just want to remind everybody that next week is managing cash flow, and Spiegler and Blevins will be here to talk about managing cash flow. And everybody be sure to fill out your evaluations, which we actually use Google Forms to go through those. So Just make sure you fill them out, you can leave them on the table, because we'll be scheduling our file no knowledge session soon. Okay? Thank you all.
I have a suggestion. If you've been watching the Washington County Board of Supervisors, a lot of has been coming up about the Incubator recently. So if you all know who your supervisor is, if you could just send them an email and tell them how helpful the Incubator is to you, just, speak from your heart, that it's been helpful and that these free classes and the things that we do over here are valuable to you as a small business owner, I think it would help, because we don't want to lose our Incubator. So.
Thank you, Ava.